Hello.
Hello, Hookie. It's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
I'm okay, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well indeed. It's brilliant to speak with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Let's hope you say that afterwards, eh?
Oh, we'll see if we go. See how we go. I'm sure it'll be brilliant. Look, I have to say from the outset that I absolutely love your performance from the Manchester Cathedral in 2011 of Love Will Tear Us Apart. It's I mean this with absolute respect, but it's somewhere in between Joy Division and the Stranglers. It's terrific.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, mate.
Oh, it's intended that way.
Yeah, was that the one with the choir?
Yes, indeed it was.
Yeah, it was a charity gig we did for the United Estates of Wythenshawe.
Ah, terrific.
It's a bunch of doormen, actually, from the Hacienda who got together and decided to do a bit in Wythenshawe for the kids, and they built a gym.
Oh, wonderful.
Which they rely on, charity to run, and it does work. Yeah, they're a great bunch, actually, and they're always putting together something really wacky. And the idea with that one was that the groups would perform with an orchestra or with a choir. And yeah, it worked really well, actually. Yeah, it's a nice idea. It's always nice to do something like that.
Oh, absolutely, and very good of you indeed. And I wish that we could donate a couple of dollars every time it's viewed on YouTube. I know I'd be contributing quite a few thousand.
Hey, I tell you what, mate. I wish I got a couple of dollars for every time some of mine's donated. It's seen on YouTube, but no. Unfortunately, we'll never be able to retire off YouTube, will we?
Oh no, we won't be able to, unfortunately. But I have to ask you: do you remember much of living in Jamaica?
Yeah, I do actually. I mean, I was 7 while I was 10. Or 6.5 when I got there. So yeah, I mean, I remember most of it. It was a hell of an adventure. It really was. Yeah, and for a kid running round at that age, it was fantastic.
And here's me going to ask Jamaica back to Salford. What sort of move is that? But obviously you weren't in charge of that at all.
It was a bit grim, to say the least. I mean, it was interesting, you see, because I'm working class, and we lived in a place called Odsal in Salford. When we moved to Jamaica, because of my father's job, which was maintaining the glass machines in a factory, we became middle class. And all the benefits that come with that. And then when my mum got fed up and we went home, we went back to being working class.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it was an interesting transition.
It would have been,
to say the bloody least.
Oh, such is life, goodness me. Hearing you perform, well, yeah, it's a culmination of us now, isn't it? Our experiences in the past. Hearing you perform now really takes me back to tracks like "Dreams Never End" and "Doubts Even Here." Is what you're doing now what you're always destined for, do you think?
Oh, God. Wow.
Well,
I mean, I'll tell you what, if I enjoy it... you see, at the moment, as corny as it sounds, I'm on a chronological journey, aren't I, through the whole catalogue. And the interesting thing about playing the old catalogue is that mainly because of what happened to New Order and what New Order became when we got back together again.
Yeah.
All that old material was just ignored, and it seems very sad, and it seems sad to me at the time, actually, because it was always me that was, pumping in New Order, trying to get Bernard to do Age of Consent and Dreams Never End, and, all this old stuff that I felt had got us our following.
Yeah.
But we were ignoring, for the hits. And, the weird thing is that New Order were never interested in hits. We always used to thrive off ignoring that and going another way, and that was the interesting thing about the group, was it went against the norm. And what I felt happened to us was that in 97 onwards, we became very, very normal. I mean, it's interesting watching their pretense as New Order now, because they've actually incorporated, I noticed Bernard, and I'm sure he's just done it for spite, but they've actually incorporated a couple of the songs that I always wanted to put in. that were very heavy on the bass riff, Age of Consent, Elegia, Perfect Kiss, and he actually did, for some reason on this time when they got back together, masquerading as New Order, put those songs in, you see. But when we were together, he wouldn't ever do them.
Oh, goodness me, he's not disappointed.
Him and Steve were very, very dyed-in-the-wool, very traditional, very boring. They couldn't be bothered rehearsing. They just didn't have the heart, to do them. And I found it very frustrating. And my wife, quite rightly, she said to me, my God, if you were there now, you'd be just as frustrated as you were in 2007 when we split up.
Oh, there we go. Goodness me, what a wonderful observation.
And it's quite shocking, actually, because when you play some of the songs, there's a wonderful website on the internet where it analyses the last time a song was played by a certain group. And I was looking at Way of Life.
Oh, right.
Way of Life was 28 years.
Really? My God.
Yeah, and we were looking at some of the others on Low Life and Brotherhood. Sunrise hasn't been played for 25 years. And I was like that, going, oh my God. And your first thought is, where did those 25 years go?
Oh, yeah, somebody there.
That's the weird thing. So for me, playing this old stuff like Doubts Even Here and Dreams Never End, it's like new stuff. It's as new as the Joy Division stuff felt after you'd ignored it for 30 years. So at the moment, I'm riding a crest of a nostalgia wave.
Yes, absolutely.
Shall we say.
And rightly so.
I'm really enjoying it. And I must admit, I get such a thrill from playing Doubts Even Here, because it's such a fucking great song.
Absolutely agree.
And it really does. I mean, I am wading, as my son puts it, like a pig in poo at the moment, going back with all these old songs. And I mean, the thing that was surprising is that I never really thought that, I knew I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But when I first started doing it, there was a lot of criticism. But people have really taken to it, and people like to see it, and I enjoy doing it. And it is difficult. It's more difficult playing the albums, without a doubt, than just playing the greatest hits. Because you're playing songs that are more difficult, much more difficult to play live. The reason we never used to play most of them as New Order was because they were more difficult. They were difficult to play. They required a lot of concentration. And they also, when you play the albums, it does demand quite a lot of concentration from your audience.
Yes.
But I must admit that I actually like that, shall we say, that uncomfortableness, that uncomfortable awkwardness. Yeah. It reminds me of punk. Playing
absolutely.
Your stuff to an audience that have never heard it.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful turn of phrase and observation. Is your son enjoying himself now, though? Just between you, me, and the rest of the world.
He, my God, you must be joking. He's always on at me to do more and more and more. And I'm like, oh my God, son, come on, I'm nearly 60 years old, pack it in. But he is like a kid with a new toy. He's a great bass player, I must admit. I don't know where he got that from. But it's also great to be with him. He plays really well. And I must admit, the lights are really enthusiastic. They're very, very respectful of what we're doing. They realise it has a gravity, especially with regards to Joy Division, and they do act accordingly. And God bless them. I'm very, very proud of them.
That's absolutely wonderful. And watching the two of you perform together is really thrilling. There's no other word.
I never thought that had happened, I must admit. I keep saying to my daughter she's going to have to do backing vocals. Be like the Osmonds, mate. Be like the Osmonds.
Oh, brilliant. That sounds perfect. If I can take you back a stretch to May 2010, you performed Joy Division's debut album at your club, the Factory Manchester. I have to ask for myself, with the greatest of respect, was it in fact a celebration of Ian Curtis?
It was to celebrate Ian's life, actually.
Oh, brilliant.
The weird thing about being in New Order was that you ignored Joy Division and you focused on New Order. And Blow Me Down, it worked. It worked perfectly. We ignored Joy Division completely and made New Order, whether it was luck, skill, talent, God knows what, we made it a huge international success. We really did. Now, the thing is that when New Order split up in 2007, and I was on the outside looking in, it struck me as really strange that we'd never celebrated anything to do with Joy Division.
My
As
God.
in 1, 5, 10, 15, 25 years, we'd done nothing about anything to do with Joy Division. And Joy Division was huge.
Yeah.
It get bigger every day round the world, you know. And I just thought to myself, fuck this. 30 years, I think Ian deserves some kind of bloody celebration.
Oh,
and we did it as a one-off at the factory. We got 2 nights out of it. And then I got asked to play in Clermont-Ferrand in France, at a festival that they had, because Clermont-Ferrand is the twin festival of Salford in Manchester, and it just snowballed from there, and we've managed to go all around the world. I mean, you know, it's an important distinction is that we're not pretending to be Joy Division.
No,
it's a celebration and an interpretation of the music, and it's the same with New Order. That's what irks me about the others, is that they are pretending to be something that they are so obviously not.
Indeed.
They are not New Order, and I think it's a goal that they've got, the absolute goal to pretend that they are. I think it's disgusting, personally.
And look, I don't want to sound like I'm pretending to be something I'm not, of course, too, but I see that as a blessing for me and Curtis, that everything's kicked off from there and just been phenomenal.
Well, I mean, it has. It's been great, and I've really enjoyed it. You know, I mean, I'm doing the New Order book at the moment. I'm just up to 1989 at the moment, and there were some pretty grim times in New Order. And really, it's not a lot of it was our fault. You know, I mean, we wrote great tunes, we kept our heads down, we worked. You know, it has to be said that there were a lot of unfortunate circumstances that made New Order unhappy. But yeah, I mean, it is a strange position to be in, and I suppose in a way it's payback. You know, I mean, if them lot want to pretend that they're ecstatically happy without me, then maybe they've got their payback, you know. And if I play, and I'm happy playing what I'm playing the old stuff, working my way through the catalogue, then, you know, maybe we've both got what we deserve.
It seems only quite right. How surprised were you that people, in their absolute masses, still wanted to hear you perform those classic hits?
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all, because there's a hell of a lot of New Order fans in the world.
Yeah.
I must admit the others do have a head start because of the power of the brand name. We all realise the power of the brand
we do.
these days. But no, I mean, you know, the thing is that I'm still here. I'm not going away. I'm enjoying myself very, very much. I'm looking forward to the next phase, which will be Substance Joy Division and Substance New Order. And I'm looking forward to doing Technique and what's it called, Republic after that.
Yes.
Then Get Ready. And then we've got Waiting for the Siren's Call. And then after that, I'll do their new LP for a laugh.
Magnificent. Why ever not?
Put some bass on it, and then they can call it the real New Order.
Yeah. Sounds perfect. Look, I was going to ask you, has there been a particular highlight for you, or do you think that's yet to come?
I don't know. I suppose in a funny way, I'd like to think that I've got a pretty simple taste. The nice thing that I'm enjoying, I must admit, and even though it sounds quite odd, is not playing big gigs.
Okay.
Big gigs are very soulless. You can get very detached very easily. And I must admit that, you know, being able to smell the audience for a change doesn't have to keep you on your toes.
Absolutely. Are you noticing
really
a multi-generational following?
Well, I was always pretty good at noticing most things, to be honest. But you know, these big gigs, whilst they're fantastic for money, I'm not going to be stupid. They're fantastic from an earnings point of view. There is a detachedness and that little bit of warmth that's missing from them, and it's been nice. I mean, I've been in the old days. I used to have a lot of fracas with the audience, to say the least. These days we don't have as many fracas, but yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying that part. It's like when I started DJing, actually. When I started DJing, it came as a great shock to people that they could actually get to you, and they could actually talk to you and come up to you. And I suppose being in the light's the same, really.
Indeed. Remarkable. Again, I mean this question with the greatest of respect to you. Australian audiences your Australian shows have already started selling out. Are you happy to reflect upon that as a mark of your popularity? No, it's a vindication of what you decided to do.
Oh, God. Well, listen, nobody got anywhere without working hard. And the thing is that we've worked very hard to show the songs the respect, and from my point of view, the admiration. And it's also a mark of respect and a great compliment, I think, to Bernard and Stephen, the other two main songwriters. The very fact is, from a fan's point of view, you've got them lot playing the greatest hits badly. And you've got us playing the rest of the material. I mean, really, you can't go wrong as a fan, can you?
You can't. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's amazing. That just shows you that every cloud does have a silver lining.
Most certainly. And what a remarkable career you've had, really. As a DJ to one side, musician, writer, author.
Don't tell me. 39 years, mate. 39 years today, actually.
Really? There we go.
It's my birthday today.
Wonderful. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I've been doing it for 39 years, and honestly, when I sit here these days, I find it hard to believe it's been 39 minutes. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. I loved it. At home you always see that thing about Bruce Forsyth, when they say, he's had 40 years in show business. Everyone goes, 40 years in show business, Bruce Forsyth. And here's me, I'm nearly there now.
Absolutely,
oh my God.
Never mind Bruce.
Nearly up there with Brucey.
Indeed. What has been the most difficult part of the journey for you? Is there one part that stands alone as being a difficult stretch?
No, I mean the legal case against the others is probably the worst thing that I've ever had to go through in my life. It's still ongoing. It still shows no signs of being rectified, shall we say. The way that they did it in 2011, which was behind my back without telling me, and putting the business machinations in play, vastly and very unfairly, in my opinion, was absolutely disgusting. It's just been that. I mean, I'm still suing them for misuse of the name and for unfair prejudice in the trademark. So I'm hoping that it'll get sorted out this year. I mean, at least then, once we get rid of that, we can all get on with our lives.
Yeah.
And I could wish them the best of luck, but I find it hard to think anything good about anything they do because of the way they acted. It was disgusting. I defy anybody to be treated like that and just to walk away. You couldn't.
I think any reasonable person would respect your position on that too.
Well, it's like a divorce and having the other party in the divorce setting your settlement.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens, does it? That?
No, that would be incredibly
You tend to go
unfair.
for a third party. You tend to put a little bit of fairness into it, and that's what I'm hoping for will happen this year. That's my New Year's resolution anyway, mate.
Hopefully a bit of mediation to a successful outcome. You're an insurance...
Well, fingers crossed.
Indeed, yeah. I won't even go into your plethora of accomplishments, but I do have to ask, what initially brought you into music? Do you recall?
Yeah, it was very simple. I went to see Johnny Rotten.
Oh, yes.
He seemed to spend most of the evening telling everyone to fuck off. And I thought, that looks like something that I could be good at. So it was as simple as that, yeah. I went and bought a bass guitar. And then from then on, just went along telling everyone to fuck off.
Oh, fantastic. And look, a round of applause, if only from me. That's
an amazing thought that I could become a musician just after seeing someone screaming fuck off.
Well, I think Johnny Rotten has somehow inspired all of us in one way or another.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's quite odd because not only did I do it, but Bernard. The two of us deciding to form a group, being together that night, and then both of us achieving what we've achieved is very unique, I think.
Absolutely. Look, I don't want to hold you up. Unfortunately, I'm over time. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to speak to me today.
You're all right, man. It was a pleasure.
Look, it really is a privilege to speak to you, and I'm hoping that we might be able to sit down with a drink or two and do a face-to-face while you're in Melbourne.
Well, that'd be nice. Get John to put a word in for you.
Will indeed, and we can't wait to see you come out here with Metropolis Touring, and it'll be fantastic to listen to you once again.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you very kindly. You too, Peter. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.